I guess we have to do like an intro.
Yeah, we should probably, I don't know, start making content.
Yeah, I guess. Do I have to say something funny now? Is this the cue?
No, don't try to
No.
don't try to be funny.
Okay,
You're gonna lose.
this is about theory
This is
anyway. It has to
this is a serious conversation between serious adults.
be. Yeah. I don't know. Who gets dibs on hot
You get
Chomsky?
hot Chomsky. You get hot Chomsky.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
gonna be thoughts and prayers.
Okay, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure,
Nice.
for sure.
Okay. So, welcome, dear viewer, to the very first inaugural episode of what will hopefully be a long-running thing that we do. My name is
Yeah,
Taylor.
that's good. Yeah, good start.
Yep, uh-huh.
I'm Patrick.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is, we never decide how exactly it would be pronounced. Is it just Le and Rahe? Ra
Enragé is the way that I
and Raje.
understand the enragé.
Okay. It's French, so I'm told that you can make up whatever pronunciation you want,
Correct.
and
Yeah, the French
yeah.
language is like take all the letters and then just subtract like 75% of them out of whatever you're saying, and you've said a French word.
Yeah, and you get to choose which ones you subtract to, which is nice. It's like build a
It
language,
is, yeah. It's
essentially.
build your own language. I'm gonna be a deprived. What starter should I take? What do you think?
I feel like Old Witch's Ring is the classic, so you get to talk to Spider Lady,
Oh yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
right? Okay.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah, so essentially, should I start by like introducing the concepts of the show or introducing
yeah.
how we probably the concepts of the show?
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it.
But alas, so essentially me and Patrick were both Souls lovers, we're both socialists, and we both are kind of nerds
Yeah.
in both of those departments. And
Correct.
I think we've also both had an ambition for a long time. Like if we led another life in another time, we would have become pro gamers on YouTube.
Correct.
Um,
Well,
so
pro. I don't know about pro. I mean, you know.
pro is subjective.
Yeah.
We will become gamers, professional gamers on the tube, as I suppose people call it.
Nobody.
Mayhap.
I don't think anyone's ever called it that. That's the one right
That
there.
involves this. She's looking good. That involves this game that we love, and gives us like a long form sort of format to talk about politics.
Hmm.
That's the very. It took me like 20 minutes to get through that because of Patrick, but
Yeah.
that's the brief introduction to the concept of the
All
show.
right. Now we gotta.
So
In
Now we
the
gotta learn about
age
Dark
of
Souls.
ancients.
oh shit, I'll be quiet.
I'm skipping it. Let's go.
There we
I'm
go.
skipping it. I'm skipping it.
It is unnaturally long,
It's very
but
long and it's very loud, but you can't hear
yeah,
anything.
yeah. Okay. So, anyways, back to my intro,
Yes.
which is going
It's
splendidly.
going well.
But
Yeah.
yeah, essentially, like this channel represents an opportunity for us to talk about politics, current events, like I guess theoretical concepts, because we're both soc dickheads.
Explain what
And
Soch
yeah,
is.
huh?
Explain what Soch is.
Oh, sociology, which is something we both are slash currently have whatever majored in
I
college. I'm
I
currently in
have
college. Patrick just
I have 2 degrees in it
huh?
now.
Yeah, yeah,
How
exactly.
about that?
So soci sociology in brief, I guess you could call it the study of society.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Politics,
yeah,
social movements, um, you know, everything that makes up social interactions.
pretty much.
Hmm.
It's a pretty broad subject, but I think we'll mostly be keeping to politics, at least for the near future. I
Yeah.
imagine we'll branch out.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, a, a big inspiration for doing this, which we had talked about in the past, is that this game series has certain thematic elements that really remind me of certain political theories
Oh yeah.
and history and things like that. And so I feel like it would be neat to talk about the game and talk about politics, but also just talk about politics in general while playing this game that we love and the hilarity that it can cause.
Yeah, pretty much. And I definitely feel like we'll have multiple episodes on the dialectics of Dark
Yeah, yeah,
Souls.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, all right, so we've now alienated 95% of anybody that would have stuck around in the first 3 minutes. So that's good.
Nice.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah,
I got to
good.
relearn how to play this game. I mean,
Really?
it's like falling off a bike, you know? But whoops.
Ooh. How long has it been since you played?
Um like a month.
A month?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I've been playing Red Dead, so it's
Mm.
the controls are all wonkadoo.
Different skill set.
All right.
Yeah, and Dark Souls is definitely a thing where you have to be constantly playing to maintain your like skill level in it.
Have you ever noticed that
You
he's
can't-
waiting up there for you?
Oh yeah, I know
I'm just, it's a nice touch.
that. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So yeah, let's how about you say a little bit about your like beliefs and
Believe.
what you would call yourself politically,
Hmm.
to get a little bit of a flavor of the type of stuff that we're going to be talking about cuz
Yeah.
I feel like
Sense.
we'll be talking about stuff that we care about, but also oftentimes I'll be watching people and I'll be like
Hmm.
what is this person's deal, like
Uh-huh.
what are they about? And
Uh-huh.
so tell me what you're about while I beat this guy to death.
Yeah. I might talk a bit about like my, I guess, activist history,
Yeah.
if you want to call it that as well.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
yeah. Um, let's see. I suppose I first became political in the sense that I actually knew what the hell was going on. It wasn't just like a normie Obama lib or whatever.
Right.
With because of the Bernie 2016 campaign.
Uh-huh.
He's what got me first engaged in politics. I was very much a Bernie bro, you might say.
I feel like we got to
You will.
reclaim that label.
Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um so yeah, in 2016, as a young, unradicalized proto-leftist that I was, um, I started following. I first discovered Bernie through like a YouTube channel, a news YouTube channel that my brother showed me, called Secular Talk, because my brother was super into like atheist stuff at the time.
Yeah.
Though the guy's not super.
Yeah.
He doesn't have as much a anti-religious bent as he used to, but he's pretty cool. A
Yeah.
lot of people probably heard of him.
Not a big fan. Who is
Not a big fan.
what's his name? Uh,
Kyle
Kyle Klunsky or something like that.
Kolmsky.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm not his biggest fan. But he does with Crystal Ball. He does
yeah. They got a little
Chris
show going now.
Crystal and Kyle and Friends or whatever. Yeah. And Crystal
To be
Ball is,
honest,
woo, she's the best. She is.
to be
She's
honest,
so good. Go ahead.
yeah, I like am criminally underinformed for someone who's so like in politics now. I don't even watch
It's
news,
good.
Kyle or otherwise now.
It's good for you to say that right at the top of this whole premise. It's like, all right, we're gonna be
Yeah.
talking about politics. I'm horribly underinformed. That's a good start.
Let me just discredit myself from the
So
get-go.
you're like everyone else that talks about politics.
Yeah,
You just sort of
exactly. You
just
know,
fly by the
weigh
seat of your pants.
in.
I love that you were describing your political beliefs a second ago in a very serious way, as I just threw 100 punches to kill that first guy.
Just beating him to
Yeah.
death.
Well, I'm thoughts and prayers, so I'm only gonna be punching.
Okay, I see.
That's my.
I feel like you should be doing miracles.
Well, yeah, I will once I get him.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the
I
prayers
see.
part.
I see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um, but yeah, what was I talking about? So
You were talking about not being informed and being a Bernie bro.
thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you for reminding me.
being a
Fuck
Bernie
me.
bro and also not being informed.
Well, at the time I became a Bernie bro, I was consuming politics daily. Now that everything's gone to shit, I can't be bothered as much.
Now that you feel like you've already done the work, you don't go back and listen.
I try to forget the past and its horrors.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
anyway, um, so yeah, my point with that was I don't watch Kyle that much anymore. Occasionally I tune in, but I am a bit disconnected from what he does now. But he first got me into like social democratic territory,
Uh huh.
essentially. Um, and a thing that radicalized me, and really made me
Uh,
start going the extra mile of. Go ahead.
Explain what a social democrat is.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. So a social democrat, for those who don't know, is essentially someone who believes in reforming the capitalist system to into a welfare state. So it's something very similar to like the Nordic countries in Europe, and basically any country in Europe when compared to the United States, where we have almost no social welfare system in comparison. But the idea is that you provide people the basic necessities, but you leave the basic structures of capitalism, such as private ownership, the stock market, etc., intact. And so, even though you're giving people a floor that they're not necessarily starving in the street, though I'm sure that that still actually does happen in many of
It does.
the countries that I just mentioned.
Right.
So it's definitely not perfect in the sense that it doesn't even provide the basic necessities that it supposedly touts itself as doing.
Right.
But yeah, it tries to do that while keeping the basic power structure of capitalism intact and leaving the economy largely in the control of wealthy elites and capitalists.
Corporations and such. Okay.
Yeah.
So that got you into that kind of mode, and then
Mm-hmm. Did you mute?
no, I just said and then.
Oh, and then okay.
That was your lead in.
Okay, I see.
That was
And then
that was the smooth transition that was no longer
very
smooth.
smooth.
Yeah.
I was like, is he gonna ask a
Right.
question?
Right. Nope. So what came next?
um, yeah. So what came next was, um, I read a book by Noam Chomsky,
Great.
as one does,
Great.
and actually I did like a high school report on it,
Oh
and
my God. What a kid.
yeah, in 11th
You
grade,
were that kid.
I was that kid. I had a lot of very democratic teachers in high school who were not necessarily happy with that decision,
Right.
but um I read Chomsky, and I read his book Who Rules the World, and the copy I read is actually right in front of me on my desk right
And,
now, which is kind of fun.
and it turns out Chomsky actually figured it out before Beyonce did. It's girls.
who, who could have guessed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, I think, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Patrick,
yeah. What's up?
I don't know if you knew,
What's up?
but we're not supposed to be funny in this
Oh,
show.
that's right. That's right. We're trying.
Not allowed.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool it.
shut the hell up,
Yeah,
essentially.
I gotta cool it on the jokes. We gotta make this as
Yeah. Yeah.
boring as possible. Got it. I'm with it. Sorry, I
Good.
won't do it again, sir.
I'm glad we're on the same page now. Very
Okay.
important.
All right. So Chomsky was talking
Um,
about who runs the world.
mhm. And the thing that really got me was the depth of the war crimes he describes in the book.
Right.
It is legitimately horrifying, the stuff that is done with our tax money under our flag overseas
For
in
sure.
countless countries across the world. One of the ones that I specifically remember is Chomsky talks about, I think it was an Iranian airliner that the U.S. military just shot down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what the number was, but I don't even remember what their like claim. They probably said it had terrorists on it or something, but there's no evidence of that. And Chomsky talks about how after that happened, even though the the general who like authorized the um, destruction of the plane was like wanted by the International Court of Justice, the U.S. government gave him like a Medal of Honor,
Of course.
and
Why
that
wouldn't they?
duality, murdering
He
civilians,
did
that
his
is how
job.
we measure.
He did his job,
He
right?
did his job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and that duality was something that really stuck with me. He also talks about how like during the Korean War we were bombing like bridges and dams to flood villages and shit.
Yeah, we did that
Um,
in Iraq as well, especially Iraq the first
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. he goes into very brutal depth on a lot of horrific stuff. Include the other one that I'll mention before I move on is like he talks about Israel Palestine, and he talks about how the IDF would like call its murder sprees in Gaza cutting the grass because
Mowing
they're
mowing the lawn. Yeah. Yeah.
mowing the lawn
Yeah.
because they're getting rid of the future generation of Palestinians that would be growing up in that territory.
Right.
So, you know, fun stuff. Um,
I'm
and that's what.
I'm gonna be kind of lame
Wow.
and fight
I
the.
mean, you do that often.
Yeah, I know. You're so mean to me. Why are we friends? Now it's recorded. It's recorded for all to see how mean you are to me. No, I should I try to punch him? And if it doesn't go well, I'll use the. Let's go with the punch. Let's start with the punch.
That's very brave of you. That's very brave.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoops. Oh, I'll just go in with one SS because I fucked up.
No, it's part of the challenge. You meant to do that.
I want to do two-handed, but for some reason I can't. I don't know what's going on with
Like
that.
two-handed.
Yeah,
Huh.
I thought that was a thing in this game, but all right, here we go.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I've never been brave enough to try.
A
Oh,
whopping
okay.
30 damage.
Oh no, we're gonna be here a while.
Yeah, I better
Yeah.
fucking speed this up. Okay. All
For the
right. All right. Yeah,
viewers.
yeah, exactly. This is just everybody's been watching me fight Krogs for like hours already, punching them 1
Yeah.
HP at a time. Okay. So the US is terrible. Yeah. We're on the same page.
Yeah, yeah. Breaking news.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so it was the war. That's interesting. One
Yeah,
one thing that's really exciting about this whole process too is that I get to learn more about you. So
yeah,
it was the war crimes element that radicalized you even more.
yeah. I would definitely say that foreign policy was what initially convinced me of the essential unreformability of the system.
Right.
Like, if our government is out murdering civilians in those numbers and being so blatant about it,
Right.
then clearly the problem must be systemic because it's clearly not just an issue of, oh, people need to be convinced in the government of what the right thing is. They're clearly actually like nefarious actors,
Right.
just
Right.
essentially evil.
Yeah, or just
you know,
or just like depending on how you want to define evil, or just so
yeah,
self-absorbed and self-interested in their faction or their whatever
yeah,
that the consequences don't matter.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, and so I probably read that book in like 2017, 2018. I want to say 2018, like early 2018.
And you
And
were
that's when I,
in 11th grade?
yeah.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
I think I think that was 11th grade. I don't know. I'm terrible with timelines. I could be off about my own life,
About your own
to be
life?
honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
know that you don't watch the news, so you might as well be off on your own life too, right?
Yeah. Apparently, yeah. Um, so that's more or less when I became radicalized. That book
Yeah.
is when it all goes back to.
It
Um,
all went downhill from there.
and it's still going.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like this in the recording, but the Discord is suddenly like very pixelated for me.
Oh, the stream. Probably not in the
Yeah.
recording, but that happens sometimes with the stream. It'll fix.
Okay, that's fine. Um, all right. So from there, I essentially like swore that I would, you know, wage a personal war on the powers that be and
Wow.
try and single-handedly save the world or whatever
Of course.
is what I would tell myself. Uh-huh.
Right.
Uh-huh. This is all completely unironic. But
Right.
so the first vaguely activist thing I started doing was I got involved in a group called the International Rescue Committee,
Ooh.
which is
I don't know what that is.
essentially like a huh?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's essentially like a at times it's almost like a charity, but it has like legal advocacy elements of it as well, but it's focused on advocating for the rights of refugees, um, and as well as like helping them adapt to life in the United States and that sort of thing. Like one of the big things we did was we held a bicycle drive for refugee children, and we got like
First death.
first death
First death. God damn, this is
drive.
gonna be hard.
It was also a kind of pathetic way to die.
It
I'm
was a
not gonna
really
lie.
pathetic start. Yeah, that was really bad.
After you like had a perfect run against the first boss,
Yeah, I didn't even sit at the bonfire,
just
if you noticed.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you just roll off a
yeah, that was
cliff.
pretty pathetic.
That's sad. But yeah, so we were doing like backpack drives and that sort of thing, helping out refugee children in the area, and I can definitely see the linear relationship of like looking back on it. Foreign policy was what radicalized me, and the first thing I went into was helping refugees.
Right.
Um, and I was like the treasure of that group or something. I was the treasure, yeah. So
Or
I
or,
ran.
or something you don't even remember.
Well, it
I
was a
don't know.
while
I
ago.
was a treasurer or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I was the treasure, and I ran like a really small fundraiser that we used to pay for backpacks as well. We did bicycles and we did backpacks. Um, but yeah, it was a while ago, and I feel like I've done a lot more interesting things
I gotta,
now.
I gotta. Okay, I'm making the executive decision. As soon as I get
Oh,
the castis or however you say it,
uh,
the punching weapon, I will switch to it.
oh.
Until then, I will just use this club, because there's no way that everybody's
No,
gonna
Patrick,
want to watch me
I
do
don't
that.
think anyone's complaining
Yeah,
about
exactly.
that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to watch me just punch people to death forever. It's funny the first 13 times, but yeah,
First 30
yeah,
minutes.
exactly.
Um,
Ooh, miss.
but yeah, so that was the large part of the sort of activist stuff I did in high school. Because I grew up in like the suburbs. There really wasn't too much exciting stuff going um, on the perhaps real left there. There weren't like any YDSA chapters at my high school, and I wasn't confident enough at that point to try and start one. Um, so my first foray into like real explicitly political activism was in Bernie 2020, which also makes sense because Bernie was also part of like one of the key links in my radicalization process.
Right.
And for the longest time, I viewed that as like the thing that was gonna be almost like I was young, idealistic, perhaps.
Yes.
It was like, when Bernie 2020 comes around, it's gonna shake things up, gonna change the world,
Yeah.
political revolution, all that.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it?
Not to not quite go that way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
You're not old enough to remember Ron Paul's 2012 Republican
no,
presidential race, but I was big into that at that time. And
really
yeah.
interesting.
Well, his whole thing was revolution was his uh, slogan, but it was the EVOL was love spelled backwards. So
Oh,
it was like a stamp that looked like the word love, and then they flipped it around backwards so that it would fit into the word revolution. Um,
oh,
yeah. So
huh.
but I realized later, this isn't about me, but I realized later that Ron Paul's kind of also a piece of shit. But regardless,
It happens,
we all have that one where we're like, yeah, 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 that was the one right there.
He's gonna do it.
Yep. All we have to
Well,
do is just vote for this guy, and holy shit, why did nobody think of this? Why did nobody think to just vote for a guy?
yeah, yeah. So I went through like, to be fair, I did not just vote for Bernie. I did a lot of other
Oh
shit.
no, of course, of course.
Yeah. So I went through. They had like a summer school thing. They had a Bernie summer school where they like train you to do like canvassing and stuff. So I started. I did my first Bernie related stuff during like the summer of. It was the summer between high school and college for me. So I want to say it was like the summer of 2019, I believe. Um, yeah, that sounds right. But I
Sure.
started canvassing. I went through the little summer school thing they had, and then I became what was called like a campus core leader, which was essentially the people who had went through the summer school that the campaign would rely on to start students Bernie chapters in the different universities. And then I met Lex, who you know,
We don't
knew
speak.
briefly at least.
We don't speak about other
Oh
people.
no,
We don't speak about other people in this stream.
other people
Yeah.
except Chomsky,
Yeah, yeah, we can talk
because
about
he
Chomsky.
is he is core to the plot of at least one of the characters.
Yeah, we should, but we should probably keep. Oh, I forgot that doesn't go anywhere. We should probably keep the other people's names out of things.
Yeah, yeah,
You
no, for sure.
you met some
Um,
other lefty people.
some other lefty folks. We
Yeah,
got together, a little bit of a crossover, and we started Students for Bernie. Um, and that was essentially what I did during freshman year of college was Students for Bernie. We had like a big march. Josh Hutcherson was there, who some people know. He played PETA in Hunger Games, so if you care about that,
yeah. Even if you
I
don't care
didn't.
about that, I mean, that's
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, why didn't anybody think of this?
Uh-huh. Of course, of
Just get
course. We got like 800 people to the march.
just get PETA there.
We also like we also like canvassed all of Ivy. And for Students for Bernie chapter, we did pretty good. I remember, I don't know why I cared so much, but I looked at the precinct data in California, and I think we had the most Bernie votes of any UC area, which
Nice.
made me happy.
Explain what
Um,
explain what IV is.
oh, Ivy is Isla Vista, which is like the student community outside of UC Santa Barbara, which is the school that
Lot
I attend.
lots of non-students also live there, but it is essentially the
Yeah,
mostly where students live.
yeah, yeah. Um, Thanks for keeping me accountable because I will not need to define terms.
Yeah, yeah. That's the important thing. I
Yeah.
don't want this to be a jargon-free zone. That is against everything that I stand for. But I don't want anyone to be confused about what the fuck you're talking about with
Uh-huh.
you know IV.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. To IV.
Yeah, like
Um,
you're going to a blood bank or something.
they canvassed the blood bank?
Canvas the blood
How's
bank,
that?
the IVs. You injected
I
your
didn't,
ideology straight into people's veins.
I didn't know that um blood banks were such big fans of Bernie.
Right.
What do you know?
Right.
Yeah.
No, and for the viewers at home, to be clear, that the technology to inject ideology straight into somebody's veins does not exist yet.
So I hear the
Yet.
CIA is working on
Yeah. Well, Bill Gates got real close with those vaccines, but
it.
better luck
Mhm.
next time, Billy.
He actually tried it on his wife, and she wasn't a big fan, so that's where the voice came from.
I will endlessly make fun of billionaires and the
Yeah.
bad things that happen in their lives.
I mean, I'm not necessarily opposed. I feel like they've got enough going for
Yeah,
them.
exactly. Yeah. I'll be mean to a billionaire. Boo hoo.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but alas, yeah. Um, so yeah, that was most of what I did during freshman year, and then with Super Tuesday and everything else, I'm gonna assume most people kind of know that at least basic history of the Bernie 2020 campaign, but it
Maybe,
went south.
maybe not. I mean,
Maybe not.
but
But
that could be a discussion for another time. We're just talking about
yeah,
what our kind of ethos is. But okay, so and then from there you do DSA and yada
yeah.
yada yada. But like, what would you like call yourself, or like
Uh-huh.
what are your
Uh-huh.
politics?
I feel like you're asking me what my pronouns
Yeah, yeah,
are.
yeah. What do you go by?
Political pronouns.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. I definitely,
Define yourself.
yeah, I've definitely struggled with
It's a
it in
hard
the
question.
past. A hard question.
Yeah.
I think from the rough assessments that I've gathered based on the information I know, I believe I am like a left Marxist, more or less.
Okay.
Um, and a close equivalent to that, I believe, is Rosa Luxemburg, though I haven't actually
Hell
read
yeah.
much for, but I am very interested in and want to learn more.
Luxembourg is my
Um,
shit.
yeah,
Now we're
yeah.
talking about theory, dude. Now we're getting into the meat of it.
Oh
What
shit, the
is
show just started.
the show just began? Welcome to the show, everybody. Isn't I
Yeah.
mean, wouldn't you say that any Marxist is a left Marxist? I mean, are there non-left Marxists?
It, it's supposed to be like a dichotomy between the Rosa Luxemburg type Marxists and like Leninists,
Yeah,
essentially,
but
who call
I
them
mean,
Marxists.
man, I feel like that's really splitting hairs. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's just the. I heard Chomsky or somebody else call Rosa Luxemburg a left Marxist once, and I was like, okay, I guess that's what I am.
Yeah, I feel like left Marxist is such a tautology, tautology being
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
to a statement that sort of is itself, that is just sort of
Hmm.
redundant. I feel like it's such a tautology that Fox News could have come up with it. These left
Yeah,
Marxists out here, they're invading our
yeah.
schools.
That's Mark. All right. Chomsky's point was that he doesn't even consider Leninism to be on the left. He's like
that's
Leninism
that's
is basically on the right.
That's interesting. I don't know if I fully agree with that. Let's write that one down for. Do you have like a pen and paper?
I have a pencil and a random piece of paper.
Okay,
So,
write down is Lenin a leftist? We should talk about that in
is
the
Lenin.
future.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Okay. So that's Chomsky's point is that some he argues that there are those out there who call themselves Marxists that are not really on the left. So anyway,
Right.
one term that I guess I'm not sure if I would call myself an anarchist. I'm genuinely not sure. If it's Chomsky's I'm fucking talking about Chomsky so
I
much.
know.
But
Well, you're gonna
I,
you're gonna your character is gonna be named after him, so you might as well.
that's true. May as well get all out there.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna be talking
Chomsky's
about thoughts a lot, so.
oh boy. And prayers. And
And prayers,
prayers.
and prayers, of course, but less than
Uh-huh.
the thoughts. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, priorities,
Yeah.
but
Hmm. Exactly.
um so essentially like I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Um
Anarchy and being an
oh,
anarchist.
anarchism.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Chomsky defines it as um being in favor of dismantling systems of authority that cannot justify their existence.
That's pretty good.
And
That's a pretty good description, I'd say.
in principle I agree with that, but I feel like the difference is like how do you define a justified authority,
Right.
um which is where I quite probably differ with a lot of people who would call themselves anarchists.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
um
you got more.
Not really, go ahead.
Okay. So I would say, for my part, I'll do my background kind of thing too. That I grew up hyper conservative and religious in the Houston, Texas area. I famously, among people that know me, wore a McCain Palin shirt in
Oh,
junior high in 2008. I mentioned the Ron Paul thing in 2012,
yeah.
and then by 2016, I was definitely fully into Bernie, and then by 2020, I felt like Bernie was kind of, I don't know, like a little bit of a class traitor. I don't know. We'll get back to that, but
Other topic.
that's another one to write down. Yeah, no, Bernie's fine. It just anyway. So that's sort of my background. Let me just get killed by this Black Knight real fast. And I confidently call myself an anarcho-communist. Uh, uh, but for short, I usually just say that I'm a socialist, because most people either kind of understand what socialism is or are scared by it, whichever one I'm going for at the time. Whereas
Mhm.
anarcho-communist is just a collection of half words that most people would be like, "What are you even talking about?"
Yeah.
And so I only really say that around people who get what I'm talking about. But the anarcho part is anarchism, which I'd say that
Mhm.
the definition you use is a pretty good one sentence definition. There we go. There we go.
There it is.
There we go.
There it is that death number two?
That's step number two. Yeah. Um,
Oh yeah.
so yeah, I'd say that that's a pretty good definition of anarchism. It's there's also a lot in anarchism that's about horizontal organization. So just breaking down hierarchies in general and having more consensus-based decision making, which is good and something worth striving for. But there are definitely times where you need strong organization. So
Yeah.
there are definitely different strands of anarchism. And then the communism part is, essentially what you are. I think what you were kind of saying about leftist Marxism is just basically
Yeah.
like I believe in communism and not like Stalinist, Leninist, Maoist communism, but like Marxist
Yeah.
communism, and the idea of a socialist state with free um, free associated labor, and
Mhm.
the abolition of private property, that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
that's where I put myself in these discussions going forward, and I think it's worthwhile to have those labels sort of situated before we start talking about different stuff because it kind of informs where we're coming at these
Oh,
ideas.
for sure.